Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the Kentucky Theater as we begin a very special ceremony to commemorate the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Please stand if you are able for the presentation of colors and the singing of the national anthem.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ringing, the guns bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say not that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Je me souviens de notre plage, du rivage de cette plage. Je me souviens de mes frères admirables et de leur premier pas sur le sable.
Je me souviens des détonations assourdissantes, de ma mère qui calmait nos peurs dans ses nuits terrifiantes. Je me souviens m'être vu mourir, des larmes puis des souvenirs. Je me souviens de l'espoir, de la lumière et du monde. Je me souviens du bocage, des caravane qui prennent le deck, les villages pleins de courage, les villages en feu.
Je me souviens de mon grand-père, de ses silences quand on parlait de la guerre. Je me souviens de ce cours d'histoire, des noms de bataille, de leurs héros. Du V pour victoire. Je me souviens raconter à ma fille que dans ce cimetière,
Entre ceux qui ont donné leur vie pour un seul ennemi. Je me souviens m'être promis de ne rien oublier, de rappeler au monde entier quel peut être le prix de la liberté.
Je me souviens.
je me souviens.
Je me souviens.
Well, good evening, everyone. We have some very special guests who have joined us tonight. I'm proud to welcome Congressman Andy Barr, who's with us, University of Kentucky President Eli Capilouto, and Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Veterans Affairs for Kentucky, Juan Reynaud. D-Day. Even 80 years later, it has special meaning. D-Day is the greatest amphibious landing in history. It changed the world, and for so many Americans, D-Day is still very personal. On that day in 1944, President Roosevelt prayed with the nation. He said, "For the enemy is strong. He may hurl back our forces. Success may not come with rushing speed, but we shall return again and again. And we know that by thy grace and by the righteousness of our cause, our sons will triumph." Perhaps you lost a close relative or a friend on those beaches. Perhaps you learned about the 4,414 Allied troops, including 2,501 Americans, who died there through a movie or a news report or another way. Or perhaps you visited the beaches at Normandy or the Normandy American Cemetery. D-Day has a special meaning for all of us. Lexington has an extraordinary connection to D-Day and to Normandy through our sister city, Deauville, France. The sister city relationship between Lexington and Deauville is one of the oldest sister city relationships in the world. President Eisenhower created the organization in 1956, and Lexington became Deauville's sister city in 1957. The people of Deauville, working with our outstanding sister city's executive director, Kay Sargent, have helped us put together this program tonight to again demonstrate the reverence they have for the Americans who died on the Normandy beaches, Americans who made the ultimate sacrifice to free France and Europe from Nazi Germany. Here's another look at Normandy through the eyes of our friends in Deauville.
Aujourd'hui, plus que jamais, compte tenu de ce qu'il se passe à l'est de l'Europe, nous avons le devoir d'assurer la mémoire des combats pour la liberté, qui par cette incarnation. Et c'est aussi au titre de ce devoir de mémoire que nous vous remercions d'être ici, vous qui portez les
So here we are, 78 years ago, Lita. We made it health-wise, we made it through battles, and we're here. And we're very happy and appreciative of you and of this greeting and what's being done for us as veterans. I think this is it's perfect. It's great, and I'm so pleased. And I just wanted to have a chance to say something for the veterans because we all feel the same. Thank you.
We are honored tonight to be joined by University of Kentucky President Eli Capilouto. Dr. Capilouto was named the 12th president of the University of Kentucky in 2011. Through his leadership, the university has grown from $2.7 billion to more than $6.9 billion in total operations, experiencing historic student success and unrivaled ingenuity. It is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Eli Capilouto to the stage.
Thank you, Mayor Gordon. It is an honor to be here this evening. I often say at the University of Kentucky, we honor those who honor us. And certainly to be a part of this evening is one of those moments. We recognize what I believe is one of the most pivotal days in the history of the world. And I want to extend a heartfelt thanks, especially to our veterans and their families who are with us today. Your courage, sacrifice, resilience are the essential and unshakable foundations upon which we can preserve freedom around the globe. Many did pay the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms we enjoy today. Their legacy must be continued. They must, through their stories that we must preserve, inspire us. So I'm going to tell you about my first visit to Normandy some 10 years ago. This is fate. It was meant to be. Amongst those thousands of tombstones, as I walked through them with my wife and daughter, I looked down and saw the name of Howard Henry, Ranger, Kentucky. And there are other Kentuckians there. We're going to honor their memories this evening. But what was interesting about this marker was his date of death was 2 years before the invasion. So at the University of Kentucky, when you're curious, you get to turn to our Louis B. Nunn Center. I called Terry Birdwhistle, our beloved, blessed memory now, who directed our center, a great oral historian, dean of our libraries. And I said, tell me about Howard Henry. So Howard Henry was the son of a coal miner from Harlan, Kentucky. His father, I believe, had a 7th grade education. He had 5 children. He dreamed that they would go to college, get an education. Howard Henry was his oldest son, who enrolled at Center College. When the war broke out, he enlisted. Prior to the invasion, there was a reconnaissance mission in Dieppe, France. I think it was to be led by Canadian and British commandos, and that President Roosevelt wanted Americans to be part of that effort. And that's where Howard Henry paid the ultimate sacrifice. I think he's among the first Americans to die in the effort to liberate Europe. So what does Howard Henry mean to me? When I came back from that very moving experience, I was in Eastern Kentucky with Congressman Hal Rogers. We were there with Tom Frieden, the then CDC director, and he put up a slide of the premature deaths in Congressman Rogers' district each year. There were some 9,000, there were over 3,000 every 3 years. It equaled the number of tombstones that I saw in Normandy. So Howard Henry's story always stays with me. And we can't bring Howard Henry back, but I thought the University of Kentucky should honor his legacy, that we shouldn't lose people too early. Birthdays shouldn't be lost. Quality of life shouldn't be robbed. So we launched an effort. I was even more inspired. It was part of our strategic plan to build, with the state support, the Healthy Kentucky Research Building so that we could save lives. Too many Kentuckians die too soon from diseases that are preventable and treatable. I like to say that that building in some way echoes the courage of Howard Henry. And that's the responsibility that the University of Kentucky will hold. Those who came before me honored our veterans. I think it is so powerful that iconic buildings on our campus, Memorial Hall, honors the memories of Kentuckians who lost their lives in what was then called the Great War, World War I. And Memorial Coliseum honors the lives of those Kentuckians who lost their lives in World War II and then subsequent wars. I go there periodically. It's a peaceful place in prayerful solitude to remember those who made that ultimate sacrifice, some 10,000 Kentuckians. So these stories are enormously powerful, and we must preserve them. And how can we best do that? I'm pleased to say that we have a powerful resource at the University of Kentucky. The Louis B. Nunn Center for Oral History, under the able direction of Doug Boyd, who is here tonight, is dedicated to capturing and preserving the personal narratives that form our collective history. Oral histories provide us with a deeply personal and human perspective of historical events. They remind us that history is not just facts and dates, it's made up of individual stories. Stories of bravery and fear, hope and resilience, sacrifice for those in the moment and for those yet to come. I'm honored to introduce a montage from the Nunn Center's extensive archives. These clips feature the voices of D-Day veterans recounting their experiences. Their words are a profound insight into the realities of war and the enduring spirit of those who served. As you listen, I invite you to reflect on the courage and determination of those individuals. These stories are a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the importance of remembering and learning from their past, our past. So thank you for being here today to honor the heroes of D-Day. Let us continue to remember and celebrate their legacy, ensuring that the lessons of their sacrifice are never forgotten. Now please join me in listening to these powerful oral history clips from the Louis B. Nunn Center for Oral History.
He had no contact with the outside world. That's when we knew that we was what we was there for. We was going to go across the channel. And
had you any idea about why you were training for this before?
yes, I knew I was training for that.
Well, I was
in communications there, and I would read a lot of the messages and so forth, and not top secrets, but it was somehow it was stated that Eisenhower had said that we can lose the force of 50,000 troops. Now that was not entirely inclusive of the American troops, but the Allies could lose 50,000 troops in the first assault.
Seen the picture of Eisenhower talking to the 101st. Right. Well, he didn't come over the top to us, but well, I was promoted to a major the night that we got on the plane to go. We had all the troops together and talking to them, and I was standing next to him. And I just looked over Father Connor and I said, I hope this guy doesn't ask us to jump without parachutes, because I think damn near every kid here would do it.
I remember going in, and it was dark at night. And this is what I was talking to you a while ago. We had cut up, soldiers. They cut up, and when they're in problems, they joke and they kid, and they wisecrack, and they do this and they do that. And that went on. We had a great spirit that way. Till we got on them ships, and then we knew we were going in.
There was no communications that told us exactly what was going on. All we know is when our orders came, we had to go out, and I could see the ships all around. And the airplanes were going over that morning. The clouds were just, the skies were full of them. I mean, you couldn't imagine how many airplanes went in there to bomb certain points behind the lines. When it started, we were scared. Anybody in his right mind would have been. And they had plenty of trouble on the beach that I don't know about, because we couldn't see them. It was too far away. It was 3 or 4 football fields away from us.
I looked around on the ship. We were terribly crowded there. We were sitting on the floor and crowded. And all at once there was a blank expression on everybody's face. You look at a fellow maybe 18, 19 years old, and there was nearly a death look. No talking, no kidding, no nothing.
We were trying to watch the sky and what was going on around us, and your attention was never centered in one spot. You can imagine the chaos that was going on in there. And when they want a ship in, they'll give them a signal, and one of the ships will pull in alongside, they'll drop a cargo net in it, and then these boys come down off of the nets, and then they all go ashore in one long, wide line, That's the way they unloaded a lot of them.
And then I was in water probably to my chest, and I made at that time there were bodies all over the place. I made a dash for the beach, and there was motor fire, there was everything. It was just constant, people hollering, people crying.
Like I say, the sergeant ordered us medics back on the beach, and we just kept working. It was terrible. You just wanted to run and hide. That's what you wanted to do, but there wasn't no place to go. I didn't know hardly what to do, because I hadn't been in that position, We just had some training in it. And I was, mostly just an ambush driver. We worked there for 3 days and 3 nights, hardly any sleep. Well, we didn't sleep. And food, we had none.
I was thinking about, would I get killed the first thing? Would I make it to the beach? How would I get killed? Would it be by a shell, or would I get a bullet, or all kind of things like that started going through my head, and I thought of my home in Garrett County on the Kentucky River, and my dog, my mom, my cousin. I wondered if I'd ever see him again. This is something that I'd trained for and trained for and trained for, and now it's coming. I didn't know how I'd handle it. I just didn't know. And this run through your mind, and I wished that I could have got off, and I wished I could have went home.
Thank you so much, Dr. Capilouto, and we're very grateful to the Louis B. Nunn Oral History Center at the University of Kentucky. So tonight we are honoring 8 soldiers with ties to Lexington who lost their lives as part of the D-Day invasion. These soldiers are buried in the Normandy American Cemetery, and we have invited members of their families to be with us tonight. Students who are part of our Sister Cities Deauville-Lexington exchange program will introduce each of these 8 soldiers. As each soldier is introduced, would the family representative please join us on stage so that I may present you with a proclamation. Now I'm going to turn it over to the students.
Hello, I'm Sophia Smith. I will be going to Deauville this summer, and I'm presenting Orville Hatton. Orville Hatton was born on April 15, 1926 in Campton, Kentucky, which is in Wolfe County. Throughout his life, he also lived in both Breathitt and Fayette counties. Hatton first tried to join the Army on his 17th birthday, but was only allowed to enlist after he turned 18 in 1944. On Christmas Eve of the same year, Hatton boarded the SS Leopoldville. This Belgian passenger liner converted to troop ship was carrying 2,235 men of the 66th Infantry Division from Southampton to Cherbourg, reinforcements for the Battle of the Bulge. 5.5 miles from shore, the Leopoldville was struck by a torpedo. Several hundred of the troops were killed in the initial blast. Although the ship sank slowly, a combination of errors, delays, oversights, and communication problems eventually resulted in the death of several hundred more infantrymen. The HMS Brilliant pulled alongside the SS Leopoldville to take on survivors. Soldiers leapt onto the other ship while others fell into the water and were crushed between the 2 ships. The SS Leopoldville fully sank at around 8:30 p.m. The soldiers that were not rescued drowned or froze in the English Channel. Orville Hatton was reportedly missing in action, and his name is located on the wall of missing at the Normandy American Cemetery. For his service, he earned a Purple Heart.
My name is Audrey Shirley, and I went to Deauville last year. I will be presenting Jesse Rice. Jesse Rice was born on March 25th, 1922, and lived in both Fayette and Jessamine counties throughout his life. He graduated high school from Handley School in Jessamine County. He then went on to work on a farm, following the path of his father, who worked on a tobacco farm. He eventually enlisted in the United States Army on August 23, 1940, and was in the 5th Reconnaissance Squadron as a sergeant. He was sent to France, where he was killed in action at age 23. In the summer of 1944, his mother was notified that he was missing in action in France. It took almost a year to confirm Rice had died on August 1, 1944, possibly near Angers. He earned a Purple Heart for his service.
Hello, I'm Joey Montanez. I went to Deauville last year, and I'm going to be presenting Robert Ray. Robert Ray was born on December 3rd, 1924, and lived in Fayette, Logan, and Simpson counties throughout his lifetime. He was educated at Franklin High School and was a member of the class of 1940. He worked at the Johnson School in Lexington until he enlisted in the United States Army. He was a member of the 329th Infantry Regiment and the 83rd Infantry Division as a private first class. He landed in France on June 18th and died 1 month later on July 18, 1944. He was thought to have been injured in Lavard and died in a hospital after the injury. He earned a Purple Heart for his service. His brother and half-brother also served in World War II.
I'm Levi Steele. I am going to Deauville this summer, and I will be presenting Joseph Payne. Captain Joseph Bubbles Payne was born in Germany on February 1st, 1921, to American parents in the occupying forces, but came to Kentucky as an infant with his mother. He attended St. Xavier High School in Louisville and the University of Kentucky in Lexington. He enlisted in the United States Army Air Forces, where he earned his wings as navigator and joined the 100th Bomber Group. He earned a variety of awards for his service, which include an Air Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters, a Distinguished Flying Cross, and a Purple Heart. His plane was shot down near the Sotvast V-2 launching stations on April 28, 1944. Descendants of Joseph Payne's younger brother, Charles, have made contributions to researching the life and story of Payne. A TV series showcasing Joseph Payne's unit premiered on Apple Plus in January 2024.
Hello, I'm Zola Viles, and I'm going to Deauville this summer. I will be presenting Robert Featherston. Robert Featherston was born in Fayette County on August 2nd, 1911. He graduated from Henry Clay High School and went on to work as a salesman and a department head for stores. He enlisted in the United States Army on August 11, 1943. He was a member of the 12th Infantry Regiment and the 4th Infantry Division as a private. For his service, he earned a Purple Heart and a European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign Medal. Featherston was sent to Normandy and landed on June 6, 1944. It was thought that he fought and was injured near St. Lo. After his injury, he was then hospitalized in Normandy, where he died on July 17, 1944.
Hello, my name is Sophia Cairo, and I will be traveling to Deauville this summer. I am honoring Albert Snelling. Albert Snelling was born in Fayette County on May 5, 1915, to a farming family. He enlisted in the United States Army on October 2, 1939, where he was a member of the 10th Infantry Regiment and the 5th Infantry Division as a staff sergeant. He earned a Purple Heart for his service. When he landed in France on July 9, 1944, and he died less than a month later on July 30th, 1944. He was one among 27 others in his unit to die on that day on Hill 183. He had 3 brothers, one of whom fought in France and survived.
My name is Audrey Kohler, and I will be traveling to Deauville this summer. Today, I will be presenting John Fothergill. John Fothergill was born March 16, 1917, and throughout his life lived in both Fayette and Jessamine counties. He spent some time working for J.O. McAllister, who was a farmer on Route No. 2 in Lexington. He received multiple years of college education before he enlisted in the United States Army on October 6, 1939. He was a member of the 10th Infantry Regiment and the 5th Infantry Division as a private first class. Fothergill earned a Purple Heart for his service. He landed in France on July 9, 1944, and died on July 29, 1944. He was one of 3 in his unit who died that day.
Hello, my name is Louisa DeBeer, and I will be going to Deauville this summer. Today, I will be honoring Edward Houghton Jr. Edward Houghton was born in Texas on August 27, 1919, but later moved to Fayette County. He graduated from Henry Clay High School An accomplished horseman, he oversaw the training of thoroughbreds for his father. Records show he also saddled a winner in his own name at the 1940 Keeneland Spring Meet. It was at Keeneland that Houghton registered for the draft and was enlisted to the United States Army Air Forces on April 5, 1942. He was a member of the 396th Fighter Squadron and the 368th Fighter Group as first lieutenant. For his service, he earned an Air Medal with 5 oak leaf clusters, a Distinguished Flying Cross, and a Purple Heart. He died on June 10, 1944, 4 days after the Normandy invasion. In July 1939, he married Natalie Corbin. His bride was a University of Kentucky graduate, where she served as president of Pi Beta Kappa.
Let's again thank all of the family members and the students. Sophia Watson, a student from Lexington who participated in the Deauville Exchange last summer, was inspired to write a poem after visiting the Normandy American Cemetery. Sophia is going to share her poem with us tonight. Sophia?
My name is Sophie Watson, and I went to Deauville last summer. There, I laid flowers on the grave of a soldier named William R. Wells. This is an ode that I wrote to honor him. Pointe du Hoc. Ode to William R. Wells, Private First Class 331, Infantry Division 83. Kentucky, July 4th, 1944. This is the moon we sink our hands into. Craters spiral under tentative footsteps, weightlessly moving from the sea, silent as dark stars, burning in our guts. Beneath the American flag, the coastline bides quiet as a promise, terrifyingly still, having been mourning for nearly 80 years, swallowing sorrow and foreigners' flowers. We are trespassers to a great tragedy, looming around the edges of a memory we do not own, passed down through bone. The salt water in our blood thins to a whisper. We'll picture their bodies, surrendered to only tide and God. Did he watch? Did he kneel on the backs of every dove that will not sing? Much larger than all tragedies, will remember their lives. The million shattered relics dissolving through the turning of hands, through mothers missing sons, through poppies on the outskirts of Omaha, bleeding wind. The clouds come with condolence. The skyline folds over her every wound where each angel came through. Angel in the hills, on the bluffs, watching the wheels turn, watching the end come. The wildflowers do not deal in war, only dream of centuries they've never touched. White butterflies obliviously kiss every bomb crater, wandering ghosts. Butterflies come light on our palms. Let us remember.
Thank you so much. I am always touched by the care that the French people take of the American graves in Normandy. Deauville Deputy Mayor Philippe Behouet, a wonderful friend of Lexington, sent the following message. Thank you so much to Mayor Linda Gorton and all of our friends in Lexington for organizing the tribute to Lexington and Fayette County liberators on June the 6th. They rest in our American Cemetery in Colville-sur-Mer near Omaha Beach. As we do every year, we will pay our respect by laying flowers on their graves with the Lexington Deauville High School Student Exchange. The Deauville Elementary School pupils will also lay flowers with their teachers. We shall never forget their sacrifice for our freedom. Signed, Philippe Behouet, Deputy Mayor of the City of Deauville. At this time, I'd like us to have just a moment of silence to honor the 8 fallen soldiers we've learned about tonight, and to honor all of those who gave their lives on D-Day. Thank you. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Congressman Andy Barr, who flew home early from Washington so he could attend this very important event. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mayor Gorton. What an honor to be here with all of you tonight in commemoration of the 80th anniversary of Operation Overlord and the D-Day invasion. I'd like to extend my thanks to Kay Sargent, Executive Director of the Lexington Sister Cities Commission, for the kind invitation to speak today, and to also highlight the special connection between our community and Normandy. One of Lexington's 4 sister cities, of course, as we just recognized, is Deauville, France, a town not far from the Normandy beaches. A few years back, when President Macron was delivering a joint address to the Congress, I had the opportunity to introduce myself and tell him about our sister city relationship, and that I represented Lexington, Kentucky, sister city to Deauville. The relationship between our country and France that began in the American Revolution symbolizes the lasting bonds formed through shared history and mutual respect. It is a testament to the enduring friendship between our nations, forged in the fires of war and sustained through peace. I was able to also inform President Macron of Lafayette High School. Today we gather to commemorate the 80th anniversary of D-Day. This day marks a significant turning point in history, a day when the courage and sacrifice of thousands changed the course of World War II. On June 6, 1944, the Allied forces launched a massive assault on the beaches of Normandy, a decisive move that ultimately led to the liberation of Europe from Nazi tyranny. 1,200 plane airborne assault preceded the amphibious assault, consisting of 5,000 vessels. All told, by the end of June 6, 1944, 160,000 Allied troops had stormed the beaches of Normandy, or at least died trying. Including, as a young man, I should say, as these students right here have done, I had the privilege of visiting Normandy, including Deauville, Omaha Beach, Pointe du Hoc, and Pegasus Bridge, which was in the British landing area preceding the invasion on the far eastern front of the invasion theater. The visit took place just months before the tragic events of September 11th, and it remains one of the most powerful experiences of my life, and I'm sure for those of you who have traveled and visited, just as these students have done or will do, it is extremely emotional. Walking among the rows of the white crosses and the stars of David, I felt the weight of history and a deep sense of gratitude for the sacrifices made by so many young men. And I couldn't help but think those men didn't have the future ahead of them the way I did. The Normandy American Cemetery, where 9,388 brave soldiers are buried, is a stark reminder of the price of freedom. The French government, to their credit, has shown enormous respect and solidarity by granting a concession to the United States, the land where the American cemetery rests, for eternity. And this sacred ground where so many of our young men rest stands as a testament to the enduring bond between our nations. It's a place where generations of Americans can come to honor the memory of those who gave their lives and reflect on the values they defended. Among those buried at Normandy are these men that we honor tonight from Lexington or have connections to Central Kentucky. Staff Sergeant Albert Snelling, First Lieutenant Edward Houghton Jr., Sergeant Jesse Rice, Private First Class John Fothergill, Captain Joseph Payne, Private First Class Orville Hatton, Private Robert Featherston, and Private First Class Robert Ray. These brave individuals, each with their own story of heroism and sacrifice, represent the absolute best of America. Their journey from Lexington and Central Kentucky to the battlefields of Europe is a powerful reminder of the sacrifices made by ordinary citizens who answer the call of duty and become extraordinary heroes. Their legacy is intertwined with the countless stories of heroism that define D-Day. The men who stormed the beaches faced insurmountable odds. They were met with a barrage of enemy fire, treacherous terrain, and formidable fortifications. Yet their resolve never wavered. They fought with courage and determination, driven by a profound sense of duty and an unyielding belief in the righteousness of their cause. And it was righteous. On this anniversary, we recall the words of President Reagan, who spoke at Normandy 40 years after the invasion. He said then, quote, "The men of Normandy had faith that what they were doing was right, faith that they fought for all humanity, faith that a just God would grant them mercy on this beachhead or on the next." These words remind us of the righteousness of their cause and the enduring power of faith and conviction, and they resonate deeply, capturing the spirit that guided these brave men. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Supreme Allied Commander, on that fateful day addressed the troops with these stirring words ahead of the invasion. "You are about to embark on the great crusade, toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms and on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world." And his message was clear. The world was watching, and the future of freedom depended on their success. And succeed they did, with valor and determination that still inspire us today. Eisenhower's leadership and his unequivocal belief in the mission were instrumental in galvanizing the Allied forces and securing victory on that historic day. So as we reflect on the sacrifices made 80 years ago, we must remember that history has lessons to teach us. It's often said that those who do not learn the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. The horrors of World War II were, in some respects, preventable, a tragic consequence of appeasement, unchecked aggression, and a failure to stand united against tyranny. The men and women of the greatest generation understood this, and they rose to the occasion with unparalleled courage and determination. Today, we honor the memory of those who fought and died at Normandy, and we renew our commitment to the values they defended. Let us remember the sacrifices that are required for freedom and remain vigilant in our efforts to preserve and protect it. I think that honors the men of Pointe du Hoc, Utah, and Omaha. As we stand here today, let us remember the enduring legacy of the Normandy invasion. The success of D-Day was not just a military victory, it was a triumph of the human spirit. It demonstrated the power of unity and the strength of collective action. It showed us that when free people stand together, they can overcome even the most formidable adversaries. These are timeless lessons, and they remind us that freedom is not free, that it requires constant vigilance, and that the price of liberty is often paid in blood. The men of Normandy understood this. They were willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that future generations, that we could live in peace and freedom. Their stories must continue to be told, not just on anniversaries, but every day. And it is our responsibility to educate our children and grandchildren about these sacrifices made by those who came before us. Let's not forget those who gave their lives. Let us renew our commitment to the principles they fought to defend. May their sacrifice inspire us to be better, to strive for a world where liberty and justice prevail, and to never forget those brave souls. May God bless them, those who rest in Normandy, and may He continue to bless the United States of America. And now I'm honored to introduce tonight's feature presentation from KET. Since 1968, Kentucky Educational Television has been dedicated to telling Kentucky stories, and they are particularly proud to honor Kentucky's military men and women who have bravely served our country with programs that commemorate their service. Produced in 2007 by KET's Tom Bickle and narrated by Kentuckian Nick Clooney, Kentucky World War II Veterans in Their Own Words features Kentucky veterans recounting their combat experiences and sharing their personal stories. This is the first film in a series that also includes the Korean and Vietnam Wars told through the voices of Kentucky veterans, all in their own words. Documents stream for free at KET.org. Without further ado, please enjoy Kentucky World War II Veterans in Their Own Words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Congressman Barr.